Marketers everywhere are always trying to find ways to improve the return on their marketing dollars, whether it's short-term campaigns or longer-term brand positioning. It's a significant challenge for brands to find ways to get better returns, especially in an increasingly fragmented world. Parry, with Phrasee, you're finding ways to help brands create content using machine intelligence. And Martin, with Codec, you've got a platform that helps brands position themselves intelligently with the concept of tribes. How are tribes helping improve brand KPIs?
A tribe, we define it essentially as a network, an audience network that is bound together and defined by its shared interest or passion. To win on the internet, you have to acknowledge the fact that the internet is a set of interconnected networks, and brands haven't taken that sort of seriously enough. So if they understand these networks, they understand what the networks actually want them to create before they go out and make content, then they're able to make the sort of content that actually cuts through and connects with them and benefits from all those network effects of being shared among the group of people in that network. So we drive up essentially the ability to get sort of viewability, click-through rates, and sort of return on investment in that sense.
Martin, leveraging the Codec platform, what sort of returns are brands experiencing already?
So someone like Nespresso was going out and trying to make sustainability content a big area for them. But they used the platform to identify that there are, in fact, many different types of sustainability tribes or audience networks that exist out there. They made content that resonated with that, and as a result, they got sort of 58% better view rates from that content.
And Parry, what's your perspective?
For years and years, people have been applying scientific rigor to every form of the marketing mix, be it programmatic buy-in, segmentation, personalization, or any other buzzword you want. But we always thought that copywriting was a unique domain of human intelligence. We come at it from a different standpoint. What if we apply the same level of scientific rigor to copywriting that people do to everything else? And that's exactly what Phrasee does. It generates copy that sounds like a human wrote it, but is actually more effective than what humans write themselves. The best way to think about the impact is like this. If you receive emails or Facebook ads, push messages, what have you, from brands like eBay, Domino's, Groupon, the Virgin Group, plus many, many more, then you've actually experienced our tech without knowing it. And they're taking it to the bank to the tunes of millions of dollars and pounds of incremental revenue.
They're realizing that by getting messages that are better targeted to the customer. How are you identifying what the new messages should be or the refined messages should be?
Within language, there are thousands of different parameters, these linguistic variables that make language impactful or not impactful. A lot of these patterns are invisible to the human eye. What the machine does, though, is it doesn't have these biases that hold humans back, and it basically can find these infinitesimal patterns which exist, which you can translate into real cold, hard revenue.
And Martin, consumers are increasingly concerned about their data privacy, data security. What approach have you taken with Codec to ensure data integrity?
We said we didn't want to crunch personally identifiable information. We didn't want to use the sort of methodologies that are entwined with PII, which is things like cookies. We invested therefore in machine learning, and that allowed us to sort of classify online content, online accounts in an anonymous way, and therefore be able to sort of extract intelligence in a way that was GDPR friendly and consistent with all the regulation coming through. So we don't rely on any personally identifiable information to extract our intelligence.
Parry, do your customers have a similar concern?
The entire Phrasee platform is built upon aggregated, anonymized data and finding patterns within that. So we don't take any personal data whatsoever. In fact, we've taken it a step further, and we've got an entire AI ethics policy, which is sort of public facing and whatnot, which outlines exactly what we will and won't use data for.
Do you think that there needs to be better regulation around ensuring data integrity?
What many think is we need this overarching regulatory framework for AI. But that actually wouldn't work. What you need are domain-specific regulatory frameworks. For example, if you are using AI to look at a X-ray of a lung to find if there's a cancerous tumor, and you get a false negative and say that there's not cancer there and that person dies, somebody needs to be held liable. In the domain of Phrasee, where if somebody gets a subject line that doesn't make them open a specific email, no one's going to die, so the regulatory framework needs to be that level less stringent.